Okay. Who can tell me what circumference means? No, not area. It's the perimeter of what? No, one particular object. Of a circle. Circle. The perimeter of a circle is the circumference. So we're going to be switching gears to circles, so pay attention. So circumference. A circle is a shape with all points that are the same distance from the center. It is named by its center. So this would be called circle A. Remember, all of the edge here is the same distance away from the center. The circle below is called circle A since the center point is A. Circumference is the distance around the outside of a circle. It is the perimeter of a circle. The circumference of a circle has two parts. The diameter, that's the distance that is across a circle through its center. And pi, pi is a special number. It's a number that shows the relationship between the circumference and the diameter of a circle. So I'm going to show you visually what that means. If you measure the distance around a circle and divide it by the distance across the circle through the center, you will always come close to a particular value, depending upon the accuracy of your measurement. The value is pi, and it is approximately 3.142857143. Pi is a number that never ends, and it does not have any sort of repetition. It is called an irrational number because of that. It is something that never ends and it never repeats. So pi, which we call pi, has this symbol. And I know you guys have probably seen this symbol before. You use this symbol and you use pi anytime you're dealing with circles. Circles are not straight lines. They have these arcs in them. And because of that, you have to use pi. So, pi is a special number, but it's not really a special number. It's a special ratio. Pi is the ratio 22 to 7. Okay, so you need to remember, pi is 22 to 7. And when we use the 3.14 or the 3.1416, we are approximating pi. That's not the true pi. The true pi is 22 to 7. Now, this ratio is the circumference to the diameter of a circle. That's what this ratio is. Circumference to the diameter. Now, I want to show you what this looks like visually. All right, now look. We have a circle. Pi is the number of times you must travel across the circle to go to the distance all the way around the circle. So look. Circumference is going to be this dark, solid line which creates the circle. That's your circumference, or your perimeter of your circle. The diameter starts at one end of the circle, goes through the center and to the other end, like a straight line. I could write it this way too. I could start it here and go through the center and have the diameter. The diameter is going to be the same for the circle throughout because the center of the circle has to be equal distance from the center to create that circumference. Now, I want to show you guys pi. Remember, the first part of pi is the circumference. So that'll be the way that it moves around the solid circle. And the bottom is the diameter, which will be going up and down through the center, which is your diameter. So I want you guys to pay attention and look. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. This is your ratio. 3 times around and a little bit more. That's pi. That's how circles are formed. And it doesn't matter what kind of circle you have, a big circle, a little circle. When you write the ratio and reduce it down or simplify it down, it's going to come very close to 22 to 7. 1, 2, and a little bit more. 3 and a little bit more. Okay? That is your pi. I don't care what kind of circle you've got. Now, here's the formula that you need to remember. Your circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. Now, let me just do this math for you real quick on the board. I told you that pi is equal to 22 over 7. And I told you that the 22 stands for the circumference, which we're going to call C. And the 7 is the diameter, which we're going to label D. So if I were just to put the symbols, I would go pi is equal to circumference over diameter. Well, if that's true, and I just want the circumference, I'm just going to isolate the C. So the formula would be, we'll multiply by D to get it cleared. These two cross out. My circumference is equal to what? No, what is it equal to? D times pi, or pi times D. That's your formula. To get the circumference, I just take pi and multiply it by the diameter. Okay? It's basic math. If you know that the circumference is 22 to 7, 22 is your circumference, 7 is your diameter, to get just the circumference and you don't know what the diameter is, you can work the diameter, you can work the circumference, because pi doesn't change. Pi is pi. So your first formula that you need to know for the circumference is equal to pi times d. Another formula you're going to have to do is that the diameter is equal to 2r. So I could have circumference is equal to pi times 2r. And we'll talk about 2r in a minute. 2r is just your radius. And your radius is from the center of the circle straight to the edge. It's half of the diameter. Okay? Let's put that up there too. Your radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2. You might have to use that. So let's use some visual pictures of these. So now you have what circumference is. Pi times the diameter. This is a radius. I'm going from the center to the edge, and it's still the same ratio, 22 to 7. However, your radius is half of your diameter. So you need to know that I can also use a formula when I have been given the radius. If the radius is half the diameter, then to get the diameter, I have to take 2 times the radius. I need to have this side and this side to get the diameter. So I need to have 2 of them. So that changes my circumference slightly if they give me the radius instead of the diameter. I'm just going to say, oh, okay, well, my circumference in that case will be pi times 2r, because you didn't give me the diameter, you gave me the radius, which is only half of the diameter. So there's 2 formulas you want to really look at for getting the circumference. Now, in this example here, what did I give you? I gave you the radius, okay? Don't worry so much about the number initially, but what's the relationship? I gave you the radius. So which of these circumference formulas should I use? You've been given the radius. This one with r. So the circumference is going to be equal to pi times the 2 times the radius. So you guys only have to worry about 2 formulas today, really. So what would that be? 16 for the diameter, right? And then times it by pi. So let's say that the pi in this case is 3.14. We're going to approximate it. We're not going to use the 22/7. So tell me what you would get. What's 3.14 times 16? $50.24. So we take 3.14 times 16 and we get 50.24. Now just like we were writing down the units yesterday, we need to write the units today. And since we're doing the perimeter, remember that's linear. You're not going to have any squares. We're not doing the area today. We're going to do area tomorrow. Area of a circle we will do tomorrow. But today we're just going to concentrate on the circumference of a circle. So we'll just take 3.14 times 16. Okay? What's given on this one? Diameter. So which formula will I use for this one? C equals, no, there's no R. C equals pi times diameter. Okay? So the diameter is 7.5. We're going to use 3.14 for pi. So I just multiply 3.14 times 7.5. What do I get? .14 times 7.5 is 23.55 centimeters because it's linear, centimeters. Did everybody get 23.55? Okay. What's given here? Diameter. That means I'm going to take the same formula that I had, right? No. Let's read the instructions. You have 12.5 feet, and you're going to use 22/7 for pi. You need to look at the instructions to see which pi they want you to use. Do they want you to use the true pi of 22/7 to be more accurate, or do they want to estimate pi at 3.14? You need to look and see which one they want you to use. So since they want me to use 22/7, that's a fraction. And they gave me a fraction, 12.5. I'm going to use fractions to solve this problem. So 22/7 times 12.5, we know this becomes 25/2, right? If I take 22/7 times 25/2, that gives me 550/14, and when I reduce it, I get 39 2/7 feet. Do not be afraid to use fractions when it makes sense. Okay? Your pi is a fraction and the diameter is a fraction. Use fractions. Sometimes it'll make your life easier instead of getting a crazy decimal, because this would be a crazy decimal that doesn't end right here. Okay? Any questions on this example with the fractions? I think this is the one that freaks people out the most. All right, I have 3 problems. I want you and your table mates to solve these problems. Now, I want you to use a pi of 3.14. On problem number 1, what's given to you? Diameter. So you'll just take pi times the diameter. On number 2, what's given to you? Radius. So you'll take 2 times the radius times pi. And then on number 3, what's given to you? Radius. So you'll take 2 times the radius times pi. All right, do it, baby. I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes. Okay, so you guys got number 1, huh? For number 1? Okay, tell Natalia so she can put that up there for you. Okay, and Natalia, write up number 1 there. What did you say it was? What'd you get for number 1? What did you get? What was the answer? 14.13 centimeters. Don't forget the units. And then for number 2, you guys got 100.48 inches. Any debates? Okay, everybody got that? And then number 3, you got 26.376. And I think I rounded mine to the 10th place. Yeah, I just rounded mine. But yeah, that's okay. All right, now let's see if you can do this next one. Okay, this time I want you to use a pi of 22/7. Pi for all of them, 22/7. Pi of 22/7. Okay, for the first one, you guys got what? 66? That's what I got, 66 millimeters. Can somebody help her out with number 5? What did you guys get for number 5? Well, the improper fraction for 3.5, we know 3.5 times 2 is 7. So what is 22 times 7? Come on, you guys.
154.
Oh, my Lord. 22/7 times 7. Come on. This one you should be able to do in your head. Thank you. 22 inches. You should be able to do that in your head. You cancel out the 7s, you got 22. Okay, and then this one. Diameter is 42.7. You should be able to do that in your head. You should be able to do this one in your head. What? 134.2. All you have to do is divide this by 7. You get 6.1 and take 6.1 times 22. Come on. Shouldn't take this long. Okay, come on, y'all. Thank you, Natalia. Everybody thank Natalia for being your scribe. Okay. Any questions?